There was once a student who sat alone every night, staring at his books. His room was dark, except for the dim light of a lamp that kept flickering. Just like his hope, he had failed so many times. His parents had begun to lose faith. His teachers looked at him as if he would never amount to anything. He asked himself quietly, "Why am I even trying? Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe success was never written for me." Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever looked at your life, at your grades, at your struggles, and thought, "I can't do this"? This is where a story begins, not in strength, but in weakness, not in victory, but in failure. The boy's name was David, and David was not the smartest student in his class. No matter how hard he tried, his grades kept falling. He would spend hours studying, yet when the exam paper came, his mind went blank. He watched others succeed with ease, while he drowned in self-doubt. At night, he cried quietly, covering his mouth so no one would hear. His heart whispered, "You'll never be enough." And yet, every morning he still woke up, dragged himself to school, and faced the humiliation of failing again. But here's the truth. Sometimes life doesn't break you with big storms. It breaks you with whispers. Whispers that tell you, "You're not good enough. You'll never make it." And if you believe those whispers, you'll quit. One evening, after another painful failure, David wanted to give up completely. He shut his books, threw them aside, and whispered, "I'm done." But then he remembered something his mother once told him. Success is not about being the best. Success is about never giving up on becoming better. That night, instead of sleeping, David thought deeply. He asked himself, what if I stop comparing myself to others? What if I focus on growing a little every day? What if success is not about speed, but about persistence? And for the first time, he decided, I will not quit. I will rise, even if it takes me 1,000 tries. That was his turning point. The next morning, David began to change, not overnight, but step by step. He woke up earlier than before, even if it was just 30 minutes. He studied with focus, not for hours wasted, but for minutes that mattered. He cut off distractions, said no to laziness, and said yes to discipline. He stopped chasing perfection and started chasing progress. And slowly, something changed. His grades improved, not dramatically, but enough to show progress. His teachers noticed his effort. His parents saw his determination. But most importantly, David saw himself differently. He began to believe, I am capable. He still failed sometimes. He still cried sometimes. But every time he fell, he rose again. And that is where true strength is born. Because here's the truth. Discipline beats talent. Consistency beats motivation. Patience beats speed. Years later, David achieved what once seemed impossible. He passed his exams. He entered the university he once thought was out of reach. He became a man not defined by his failures, but by his persistence. And when people asked him how he did it, he smiled and said, I wasn't the smartest. I wasn't the fastest. I was simply the one who refused to quit. Now I want you to hear this clearly. Your failures do not define you. Your persistence does. Success is not reserved for the perfect. It belongs to those who keep trying. Your pain today can become your power tomorrow. Study not just for exams, but for the person you are becoming in the process. So when you feel like giving up, remember David. Remember that success is not about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. Because one day, your story will inspire someone else not to quit.